There are several different ways. So firstly, of course, we're seeing APIs enable new types of service provision, account aggregation services and integration services, consumer value optimization services, such as, automatically trawling to find better value deals for everyday products and services that somebody may be using. We're seeing APIs kind of transform payments in terms of account-based payments and wallet-based payments and new payment kind of payment modalities and that sort of thing. Another way in which we're seeing APIs transform the banking world is in terms of kind of consumer control over consent and use of credentials, and the ability for the consumer to be able to revoke an integration at any time. So this tends to be quite a strong feature of API integrations, the idea that the integration is there to benefit the consumer because the consumer has given their explicit consent for that integration to take place. We're also seeing it driving the development of standards and service providers offering either de facto or de jure standards. So, for example, here in the UK, we have the open banking APIs. In the EU, they have the open finance initiative. So that's another really important area where APIs are, really driving transformation. Another area is we see really APIs enable kind of transformations in the overall operational cost and overhead model for a bank through the provision of digital services that don't need heavyweight infrastructure. They don't necessarily need premises. They don't need tons of people to run them because they're highly automated. And so, it's also relevant to the kind of operational cost operational model that the financial institution runs. And finally, another area we see some really interesting implications is in terms of fraud and risk operations. So thinking about, if you compare with kind of very well-established payment infrastructures like card payments, for example, where there are really well-established frameworks, doctrines, operational rules, and similar governing who's liable in the event of fraud, how's that to be processed and disputed and resolved and refunded and so on. In the world of APIs, there's still API integration, some of these frameworks, being defined through frameworks like the PSD2, but this is still an area where there's some kind of emerging, business process and practice to, take on board, and implications for, for established financial institution fraud and risk operational shops.